Hughes, we're watching part 2. Should be interesting.
You know, throughout our history, women in their 70s weren't even having sex.
Right.
There was no reason to have sex. There was no person to have sex with them. They probably even weren't alive. But if they were alive, there was no need for the vaginal wall to stay firm or to lubricate. There just wasn't any sex. So we're in a new, in terms of the arena of mankind, we're in new territory.
Well, we're in new territory because now women today have all kinds of lubricants that can keep the vaginal walls moist and smooth and slippery and all that kind of stuff. They can do all kinds of things to keep their sexual prowess about them. They can have breast augmentation. They can have facelifts. And let me tell you, they're doing it in spades so that they can still attract men. I think that they have some idea, as many of us do, that we would like for sexuality now between the sexes to be exactly as it was when we were in our early 20s. But the bottom line is not the same. And we just can't assume, and we have to get more realistic that that's not going to happen again. We're older, things change, things are different. Maybe as a 72-year-old woman, I don't want to have sex like I did in my 20s, and that my whole goal in life is not to manifest that. And there's some pressure on me as a 70-year-old person that, you know, I should be seeing doctors and finding ways to get my lubrication geared up and my vaginal tract stretched out, or laser treatments, or all these things. It's just like getting a facelift in order to be attractive to men, or in order to be able to be sexual with men.
All things being equal, men even in their 70s are still going to prefer or be most sexually interested in a woman with the cues for fertility.
70% of men in their 70s are impotent.
This is so hardwired. It is not good news for women, but women who are fertile and in their 20s, 30s, they have immense erotic power and control over men.
Stephen acknowledges me that yes, it's not good news for women. So he has heard me and understands the truth of what I speak. Makes me feel good. He heard me.
But once they stop ovulating, the cues for youth, fertility, which are about, I mean, it's across the board.
Women who are ovulating have an immense control over men of any age. And why the 70-year-old men are still trying to go up against that and compete with the men who are in their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s when they're in their 60s and 70s and could be the father of these women.
I mean, first of all, you've got all these cues, waist to hip ratio, symmetry in the face, the cheekbones, the thickness of the lips, the quality of the hair. There's a whole science around this.
That explains why, as I was growing up, women that were my friends said, "Oh my God, if I could get these men to get away from me. You know, they are all over me. They're all pitching themselves to me constantly. I can't go anywhere or do anything without them jumping in there to try to get a date with me or get my phone number." And the interesting thing is, I never had that experience. So this truth that he's speaking, that the way you look is what counts. I just do the best I can with what I have. I've always been interested in my hair being a different cut on one side or another, a different color, you know, sticking up with glue or whatever it may be, and I'm still like that. And I still like to wear kind of stylish clothes. Always did, still do. I don't do it for men.
This is the dimension of erotic power in combination, seeking economic power, This is the perennial male-female bargain that we have had for eons. And I call it the tyranny of beauty and the tyranny of power. I've written a little bit about this. There's invisibility, as we know, it's a key theme right now among older women. And there's an invisibility about men who do not have power. Beta men are totally invisible.
Absolutely right. There are people in our society as women who are invisible, and I consider myself one of those, certainly to men, maybe not to the general public or the art world. And men that are invisible because they're not alpha men. Yes, I understand men deal with that. What Stephen said is right. There are men and women that are going to be attracted to each other because they have those beauty marks. And I don't mean a mark on your face. I'm just saying they are beautiful and they are desirable and they can't help it. And the rest of us, some of us, me in that crowd, we're more invisible because we are not perfect. And I'm not beautiful. You know, I don't think people want to get a stick and run me off the street when they see me, but I'm not beauty by the standards of America and American women, and I never have been.
So if you were a woman at your age, or I'm a little older than you, but the same age space or whatever, and how would you feel in terms of sexuality and relationships if you were a woman? And maybe even a few years older than you are? Which would be like...
Well, I would feel distraught, probably. And I would feel possibly a bit hopeless.
Distraught, hopeless. He gets it. Not a lot of men that I know do. So I give Stephen an A+ on that.
But eventually, I think that I would notice that if I can take what shifts is now the need for you to begin to initiate. The man you're talking about, who's 59, he's already done 5,000 to 10,000 initiations toward a woman in his lifetime.
The fact that Stephen says that I need to step up at my age and initiate with men more really irritates me, because I've always initiated everything, any contact that I've had with men. If I sit back, if I wait, if I sit at the table, there's nothing ever happens. So, at 72 and pretty much most of my life, I'm here. If any of them want to initiate with me, if any of them want to get to know me, if any of them want to go out with me, I'm available. But let me tell you, I am not hopeful.
And, you know, if you can initiate and get his attention, then the radiance and other elements of attraction can start to be crafted. But if you're just talking about his visual cortex, there's a part of the brain that's in the hypothalamus that's called the MOPA, which is 2.5 times larger in a man than in a woman. He's not going to come on to you, but you might be able to engage him. It's a new game. I think that there's a sweet spot in here where you can have it all, and it looks as if you actually are being sexualized. As Mae West once said, it's better to be looked over than overlooked. You're still being looked over.
I'm very content now to be missed. I have accepted being invisible with men, and I'm a lot more at peace. I'm a lot more at peace than I've ever been in terms of men, and I like it. I have a great life, and when I had men in my life, there was always chaos and always stress, and after about 2 years, I got rid of them because I couldn't stand it anymore. I wanted to get back and be by myself again. But then, so it's kind of in and out, but now it's mostly just out.
But you experience being overlooked in terms of your best qualities. And I think that's just the wrong man.
I would like to believe that's true. It's them, not me. But I think it's just the reality. Things change. It's not bad or good, it's just different. You know, we're never going to sleep like a baby again. We're never going to have sex like we did when we were in our 20s and 30s. Just get over it and move on.